याद रखेंगे हम तेरी दिव्य कहानी। दादी जी याद रखेंगे हम तेरी दिव्य कहानी। मुरलीधर और मुरली की तुम थे खूब दीवानी। मुरलीधर और मुरली की तुम थे खूब दीवानी। याद रखेंगे हम तेरी दिव्य कहानी। दादी जी याद रखेंगे हम तेरी दिव्य कहानी। जनक विदेही कहकर जब बाबा ने तुम्हें पुकारा, पल भर में तुमने वैसा ही अपना स्वरूप धारा। पालन करती रही सदा तुम बाबा की समझानी। दादी जी हम याद रखेंगे तेरी दिव्य कहानी। याद रखेंगे हम तेरी दिव्य कहानी। दादी जी याद रखेंगे हम तेरी दिव्य कहानी। ओम शांति का मंत्र आपने अर्थ सहित उच्चारा। स्वयं प्रभु और घर की याद का देती रही इशारा। बांटे तुमने वरदान सभी को बन कर के वरदानी। दादी जी हम याद रखेंगे तेरी दिव्य कहानी। याद रखेंगे हम तेरी दिव्य कहानी। दादी जी याद रखेंगे हम तेरी दिव्य कहानी। त्याग तपस्या सेवा आपकी सच में बड़ी निराली थी। नहीं कुछ भी पास में रखा फिर भी सारे जहां की वाली थी। कभी भूल ना पाएंगे हम तेरी याद सुहानी। दादी जी हम याद रखेंगे तेरी दिव्य कहानी। याद रखेंगे हम तेरी दिव्य कहानी। दादी जी याद रखेंगे हम तेरी दिव्य कहानी। मुरलीधर और मुरली की तुम थे खूब दीवाने। मुरलीधर और मुरली की तुम थे खूब दीवाने। याद रखेंगे हम तेरी दिव्य कहानी। दादी जी याद रखेंगे हम तेरी दिव्य कहानी। दादी जी याद रखेंगे हम तेरी दिव्य कहानी।
ओम शांति। Very warm welcome, everyone.
Thank you.
And very warm welcome, Sister. Really, just want to tell you, Sister Hansa, that we all have been really eagerly waiting for this class. I mean, not this class, I will say this special meeting, because this is not an ordinary Gyan session or like any other another Gyan class, but this is a meeting with an angel. The angel who has all made us meet, Angel Dadi ji. And we all have been really such special feelings and special love for you in our hearts. Really, such respect for you. I always remember that whenever I used to send you message that Didi, we want to meet Dadi at this and this time, and can you please arrange? So I remember receiving her message, her reply immediately. So really, Sister Hansa, you have played the part of an angel. And actually, to reading about Dadis and listening to Dadis class is something different. But today we are really looking forward to listen from you the first-hand experiences. Mm-hmm. So thanks a lot for taking this time for us. And over to you, sister. Later on, Sister Aruna will be asking some questions from you.
Okay, sure.
So over to you, sister.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm just saying that so much has happened in the last 1 year or so, not just in the Lokik world, as what we're seeing, but also within our Brahmin family, how many of Baba's children have left their body, seniors, young ones, and of course, all the dadis, one by one, they all flew away. And so all of you must have watched Dadi's last rites and how she had left her body early hours of the morning. And in few hours, everything was just over and done with. And it just shows that that's how Dadi wanted it to be. We felt that our hands were tied and we couldn't say anything or do anything, but we just had to go with the government laws. And we were just racing and racing from one complex to another, where time was given to reach Pandabon at a certain time. Then from there, everything wrapped up very quickly. And then we went to Gyan Sarovar. And then from there, and all of this, that's how Dadi was. She wanted no fuss. She didn't want any time to be wasted. And Dadi's life was like that. She was very, very time conscious. And when we used to, because she had value for time really cooperated of how she wanted to go and when she wanted to go, as if she planned everything. And when we used to make her appointments, in the evening, 6:30 to 7:30, for people to meet her, she would meet souls very lovingly. But at the same time, we were seeing how she had her one eye on the clock. Why? Because she wanted to be in the hall by 7 o'clock for the 7:30 meditation. And if we were to even waste a little bit of that time, and Dadi used to say, okay, now take me to the hall. And when we used to take her to the hall, she used to see that people were chatting away or people were still strolling at that time, because in Madhuban, 6 to 6:30, people always used to go for their walks, or 6 to 7. And Dadi really didn't like that. And Dadi used to tell us that you have to make announcement that meditation is happening in whichever hall it was, whether it was the Diamond Hall, whether it was a conference hall. So Dadi is the one who really instilled and made us feel aware that how this evening yoga, evening meditation, the Nimasham yoga was so important. And same for the morning murli every day. You know, Ratanmuni Dadi used to read the murli, but sometimes Dadi showed when she was well, she used to say, okay, I'll read the murli today. And, you know, Dadi used to hurry us up that, okay, bring the wheelchair and take me. It's 7 o'clock. And when we used to take her, the brother used to always play her favorite song. And it was always the same song if she was to read the murli. And that used to be Sakire Menopayo Teen Ratan, friend, I have attained 3 things, Baba, Murli, and Madhuban. So then when that song, particular song used to be played, I mean, everybody knew that today Dadi Janki would be reading the Murli. And it just made people so ashamed that there was Dadi in her late 90s or 100, and she used to be there for the 7 o'clock Murli, and they used to turn up late. And so, you know, people used to come running. Before, you used to see half a hall full, and then gradually people used to start coming in. By the end, you know, the hall used to be filled. So Dadi gave so much importance to time. And she taught us that how accurate we had to be and not waste any time. If I look back at my Brahmin life, if I look back on my spiritual journey, one of the things that I really liked about Dadi was that she demonstrated everything through her life. She taught us through her life, through her being. And it wasn't just her classes, but she did everything and we just followed. And that's how we learned, because when we came, we were very naive. We weren't grounded. And so just see how Dadi made so much effort on each and every one of us. I personally didn't want to surrender, but or live in this, you know, just come and live in the center. But drama had it another way, and it was really Dadi's eyes, and it was Jendiban who invited me to come and stay in the center. You know, there was a project, Million Minutes of Peace, that was going on. And when I started living there, you know, when you're new, everything, all the Aruna would remember, and other sisters, we all came at the same time. And it was through our mistakes that we learned so much. And through those mistakes, I feel that, like, for instance, that, you know, we were asked to peel a sack of potatoes, and this sister in the Bandara, she just left a bag of like 16 kilos of potatoes in the kitchen, and she asked that you have to peel potatoes in the morning. And the potatoes weren't there at that time when she told me, but then when I came down in the morning, early hours of the morning, I thought I must do it before my Amrit Vela. And it was a 16-kilo bag. She didn't tell me how much potatoes I had to peel. And I just peeled the whole sack of potato. And in the morning, when the sisters saw this, she was shocked. It was a Sunday morning because they had to make borg. Now, 16 kilo, what were they going to do with all those pea potatoes? She phoned Dadi. And she said that this sister has done this. And so what do we do? So Dadi was very light about it, but obviously the sister wasn't. And so Dadi just brushed it off and said, it's okay. We'll have it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. From that, the lesson I learned in particular was to never assume. It's always good to ask, even if you don't understand, ask once, ask twice, ask 3 times, rather than to make that big mistake. And likewise, I used to see that if Dadi ever wanted to give any teachings, if she wanted to give any directions, she would always take sisters by the hand. And in those days, Dadi, was very independent, and Dadi used to walk a lot, and she used to take whichever sisters that she wanted to give teachings to or instructions to, or wanted to say anything, she used to take them by the hand and take them for a walk. And so this is how Dadi, brought all of us up. And it was one day that Dadi took me by my hand and took me for a walk, because she knew that I was really not happy in the place that I was staying. And Dadi asked me to come and stay in Baba Bhavan. And she knew that there weren't any beds available, but she knew how important it was for this young sister to stay in the center, because, we're vulnerable at that time and we could just leave and go home. And so Dadi asked me if it's okay if I slept on the floor, which I didn't mind, because I was more happier to be staying with the seniors than think of anything else. And again, I just felt that I was sleeping downstairs in Baba Bhavan in those days. But I was very scared. I was very scared that if any burglar came at night, they would first take me away, because I was the only one downstairs and everybody else was sleeping upstairs. But I should have really been honest with myself and honest with the seniors that there was fear. There was really that fear in me. And really, if I had said that, they wouldn't have minded. But it's little mistakes like this that we make, and, they become a big thing. And so like this, Dadi was teaching us so much, demonstrating through her life, through her classes. She used to give very, very strong dharana classes. And sometimes when she used to give us teachings, some sisters or some students weren't able to digest. And so what did she used to do? She used to just generally give class as if it was nothing to do with anyone else, but she was generally just giving that class. But we knew that this class was for me. And so I was just saying that, Dadi had so much concern for each and every one of us. She really cared to that extent that she gave each one so much time. And sometimes when I used to see that Dadi used to give this particular soul so much time, and we used to have ways thought that why is that person taking so much energy out of Dadi? But Dadi never felt that. Dadi used to feel that, where is this person going to go? After all, he is Baba's child. And so Dadi never got tired. Dadi never got disappointed with anyone. Dadi was didn't leave anyone hopeless. She used to give them so much strength and so much upliftment that we all felt that how much energy Dadi is using in all of us, and just her being, her the embodiment of what she was. And when I was with her, Dadi never thought that, Dadi never liked this word Brahmini, and I never liked this word. It was only used in India because all the seniors had an assistant and they were very dependent on their assistant. And so this word Brahmini and the role power was there. But for Dadi, she was she was a master. And I always felt that I just had to help her in whatever way I can. I had come from a very simple background, very basic. And so whatever little I did, it was very simple things I didn't mind, like just packing for Dadi or just looking after her or getting gifts for her. And I had asthma, which was quite severe, but I never let on to her that I was breathless if she made me do something like living in Bababam, and she used to ask for some gifts, and I used to run down and then run up again. So I was very asthmatic, but I never let on that I was breathless and I couldn't do it. And I always carried my inhaler with me, and it was like just taking a cigarette puffs. So just taking my puffs and moving on, taking my puffs and moving on. And that's how I did everything. But I saw more and more that he was trusting me with everything. And how she brought me, I didn't know that one day I would be living in Madhuban, but just see how drama has it, and my good fortune, and how from the beginning, Dadi used to give me service, like if any Dadi came, then I had to look after her. And like Chandramani Dadi came, and Dadi said that you have to look after her in all her physical needs. And that's where it all started. Because in those days, we didn't have Global House. We just had Baba Bhavan, and whichever Dadis came, they stayed there. And so just doing little things. And it was a big thing now that I see that it was connecting us together. Dadi brought us close to the yajna. She used to ask me to phone Madhuban, and it wasn't that whichever sister was there that she would ask them to dial the Madhuban number, but she used to especially say, call Hansa, tell her to ring Madhuban. And so that was my deep connections with the Dadi, because they knew who I was. And when I connected with them, they used to ask about Dadi, and I used to say, Dadi wants to speak to you. So that thread were there, that thread were being tied. And so I was also traveling around the world with Dadi and just looking after all her little needs. Again, there was just that caring nature. And I knew what Dadi liked and didn't like. And so at the back of my mind, there was also always this feeling that I mustn't do anything which Dadi doesn't like or Dadi would disapprove of. And during our traveling days, sometimes there were mistakes because Dadi always liked to carry hundreds and hundreds and thousands of toli, more than her clothing. We would carry bags and bags of toli and literature and gifts. And so those were the things that I would take first and pack for her. I used to wait around for her while she used to meet people and, get all her things ready, whatever she had wanted. And so traveling wise, I was seeing that Dadi never got tired of service. Even when she was on the plane, she would have, gentlemen would give her this 3-4 files of emails to read, because in those days, there was no iPad, there was no mobile phones, and it was just the hard copy. And I would carry that. I had hundreds of tolis in hand because she always wanted to give to the wheelchair people. She wanted to give toli and literature to the crew on the flight. She wanted to give toli to the passenger who she didn't even know, but she used to tell me that go and introduce, to them who we are and where we're from, and hand them over this toli or hand them over this leaflet. And I always used to sit separate from her, but always very attentive in going up to her and giving her files and her glasses and her food. And so I used to see Dadi never used to sleep on the flight. Dadi never got tired. She used to, because more important, it was for whichever emails she was reading of whichever person, they had to have an instant response, because I knew that as soon as we reached whichever country we had to, Gentivan would want a response from Dadi. And Gentivan was very respectful in that way, that she never took control of people's lives, in a sense that she would always ask Dadi that, what shall I say to this one, or what shall I say to that one? And so she was always wanting response from Dadi, what Dadi felt, because Dadi was very connected with Baba, on that level. This is why she knew that Dadi always would give the right answer. And people used to really appreciate the immediate response that they used to get, because it was really people's lives that they were looking at, that this needs an urgent answer. And so even whichever country we used to go to, I know many people are listening in, but they would have seen for themselves how Dadi would just dive into service and not think of her jet lag, or if she was tired or not tired, but she would just make them feel that she belonged there and give each one that feeling of belonging. And it was just amazing to see someone at that age, being so active and so alert and so attentive, that people were just coming so close to her. And not only that, she sustained everyone personally, also by inviting them to London, and because she knew that in these countries, they don't have a Dadi, so who's going to sustain them? So she used to really invite everyone to London for special programs, and she used to sit with them, ask after them. She would also help out financially. So Dadi had a very, very big heart, that she looked out for even the littlest detail. Dadi was very caring, and she would ask, when she used to hear of anybody coming, who's picking them up, who's dropping them, whether they've eaten, whether they've not eaten. So even the minute things, Dadi was very, connected, that she wanted to know. Obviously, all the sisters used to make Dadi very carefree by doing everything, but still, Dadi wanted to know and, used to be concerned. And like this, like I've learned a lot from her, but I didn't think that I would end up in India. And when Dadi had to shift back to Bharat, that was a whole different experience, because my experience of the West was so different, vast difference from my experience in India, and just the way of dealing with people, with and just watching somebody, how to handle, all these hundreds and thousands of people that were coming to see Dadi. It took a couple of years for me to adjust mentally. And obviously it was then that I got used to it. And then also Dadi's health started to deteriorate. But there was all this feeling that, of wanted to take care of Dadi like a mother, because all these years, Dadi had looked after all of us, and the way she cared for all of us, the way she inspired us and nurtured us, it was just amazing. And so just to look after her in a way that she didn't feel that she was a burden to us. And this was always very much at the back of my mind, that we had to make her feel very comfortable, not allowing her to think anything in this way, that she's taking service from us, that, because she was always very, very independent. And so this is why I just loved to look after her, very caring. But I didn't know that at the age where she was over 100, that I would be taking her all over India. And I was just seeing that she had so much love for service, that this was her medicine. People used to say, "Are you mad? Look at her health, look at her age, and you're taking her on a tour." But I knew, and it was my inner gut saying that this is the right thing. This is what will make Dadi happy. And how much blessing she was receiving from that, her life was, expanded through that, all the blessings, from the hundreds and thousands of people that she used to meet. And also in Madhuban, when people used to come, just to make sure that, she attended every program. And when she was not well, even inspiring her that, "Dadi, you'll be okay. Let's go to this class. Let's go to this program. You'll be okay." And I used to see and used to be amazed that really, this was really a medicine for that. And when I used to take her there, and she used to just perk up, she used to start clapping, her feet used to dance, and along with that, everybody else was so happy. And so it used to be so wonderful just serving her that way. I wasn't scared, actually, that looking at her age, that I shouldn't be doing that. But it was just like a signal from Baba, that touching from Baba. I never had this feeling that I am doing it, looking after Dadi. But it was really, I was keeping Baba in front, that it was Baba, and this is what Baba wants me to do. It was like Dadi was a trustee, and so I'm also a trustee in looking after her. And so really, because of, I used to see how Dadi had so much care and concern, and for my upliftment, Dadi used to always inspire me that, you know, I had to do the same. And I didn't know, I used to always say to Dadi, Dadi, when you're not here, and this was years ago, that when you leave the body, what will I do? You know, I think that I would catch the next flight back home. And everybody, this is when Dadi left the body, this is what they thought, that, you know, I would come back to London, but drama had it another way. And Dadi really wanted me. Couple of years, I had again asked Dadi, you know, what will I do? And Dadi used to say, well, what am I doing? You know, you're looking at me, people are coming, I'm just giving them love and sustenance, and this is what you have to do. And when Dadi left, again, that question, okay, so Dadi had said that I had to stay in India, I had to stay in Madhuban, and I had to keep these doors open because hundreds and thousands of people will come and they will want to see where Dadi used to live. They would want to come because it was now a sacred place. It was like more like a Baba's room. And I have kept a picture there where Dadi used to sit. And what happened was, Dadi had said I had to stay, but nobody asked me, but what are your thoughts? Okay. So Dadi used to say, and you used to say that you wanted to go back. So then I was like in the middle, but what's my thought, inner thought? But it was just a blessing in disguise that it was locked down and I couldn't come back. There was no flights back to London. And so during that time, I was just seeing how Baba started to lift me up from ground zero, because I thought that was it. My world's come to an end. That is gone. My role has finished now. So what am I going to do? But Baba had another plan. He started to lift me up. And I say that because normally when any of the Dadis had left, all the festivals used to be stopped. And this time Dadi Janki had left, but all the festivals just carried on. And all the things that, you know, all the activities just carried on. And suddenly there were groups invited for this festival, like the Rakhi festival and that festival. And also what I used to see, how I was getting so much support from the Nivasis, the residents there, the surrendered brothers and sisters, that they started to come to Shakti Bhavan. They used to sit and they used to give me so much love and encouragement. And they used to ask me, can we come and have bhattis here? And I couldn't say no. It would, because Dadi said, don't keep the doors closed, you know. And so all these people were coming for bhattis, these groups were coming. And then suddenly, during this bhatti time, they asked me to speak. And this is the last thing that I had wanted, because it was not my role, you know, to give gyan, to share knowledge. And it was like Baba was pushing me. The Nivasis were pushing me and they were teaching me. And they used to say, okay, just share 5 minutes of your experience with Dadi. And the next minute I knew, you know, different groups used to come. Okay, share your experience and share on this topic, or share about the festival of Rakhi, or share about the festival of Janmashtami. And what did I know, you know? I used to go and read up about these, you know, about Rakhi, and yeah, there was general knowledge, but still to be able to share something, it had to be something solid and not just, you know, waffling. And so that's how I started serving in Shakti Bhavan. And then later on, Baba's meeting started, and how groups started to come, and all the teachers used to see me go to class and go for Amrit Vela, and they used to just see me and connect me with Dadi, and they used to say, well, can we come to Shakti Bhavan? Again, how can I say no? But I didn't know that they were, I thought it was just them who wanted to come, but it was like they were bringing whole groups of people, like 25 people, 30 people, and they used to sit, and then they said, okay, can you share Dadi's experience? And so just see how drama was teaching me. And I felt that Baba is really uplifting me in this way. He was really pushing me. And this just seemed like a new role for me. And all these months up until Dadi Gozar left her body, or, you know, groups were coming, and I used to just do the things that Dadi would have done, just give love and sustenance and share my experience, but also through drishti, through the toli, through the little gifts. I used to keep little, because Dadi never allowed anyone to go empty-handed. She would always fill people up with gifts. That's just a gesture of love. And so blessing card, and people used to be so happy. And when they saw that I was doing this, and when they went back, and they used to always send with their party, whoever was coming next from their class or from their group, you know, gifts for Shakti Bhavan. And so that was just amazing to see people bringing boxes of apples and boxes of almonds, because I started giving almonds because Dadi used to give almonds. And so I thought that was just the right thing to do. And, you know, to share almonds with them. And they used to just, you know, be overwhelmed and say that this place is filled with so much of Dadi's power. And of course it is, because Dadi used to stay there, and she did so much tapasya that she used to have a Amrit Vela there before she used to go for Amrit Vela in the hall you know, in her till her late 90s. And it was only after she became very sick that she was having her meditation in the sitting room. And Dadi really instilled all this teaching in how important it was to have Amrit Vela. And what I did do, which I forgot to share, was that during her Amrit Vela hours, I used to get her to record even the little age. Dadi used to just say, come, I want to share something. And she would share her experience of whatever experience she had during Amrit Vela. And I used to feel that, okay, she's sharing such nice things. Why don't I just record them and send them, you know, to London? And then London was sharing with the whole world. And that was just amazing that everybody was able to hear of Dadi's Amrit Vela experiences. And then I thought, okay, why don't I just make a habit of this, that every Thursday I would record a special message which the whole world can hear. And so Amrit Vela messages used to go out, and also on Borg days, Borg messages, Daddy used to send out messages for that. And then I also used to record messages for Sunday class, and all those messages. So it's just keeping Dadi connected with the world. Physically, she was there, but spiritually, she was just sustaining the whole world through these messages, through her Amrit Vela messages, through her Thursday messages, through her Sunday messages. And it was just wonderful to connect with people in this way. And also, when I used to get requests from people, could be anywhere, from anywhere in the world, please can you send a message for this particular people, whether it was their birthday, whether somebody had left their body, or if they had any special events, then I would specially get Dadi to record this. And all of you seen the last few years, Dadi wasn't able to remember so much. So during those recording times, I used to actually write the person's name and stick it in front of my mobile, so she would call out, so that she would, sorry, so she would say the person's name, and they used to become very happy that Dadi remembered me personally. And so I used to write little points in which she should speak on, and that was quite nice because she was very intuitive, like that she would just pick up and speak on that particular occasion with the person's name. And so I used to just love doing this and just connecting with people all around the globe. And this is, also part of the service that I did, living with Dadi, just connecting, not just physically, but also in this subtle way that everybody can experience Dadi, that she wasn't just my Dadi, but she was everybody's Dadi, the world's Dadi. And so it was just wonderful, serving her in this way. And, what fortune that Baba chose this instrument and found me worthy of looking after her. Baba had given me, I had met Baba personally many times in History Hall, in Om Shanti Bhavan, Meditation Hall. So I have received many blessings, and one of the blessings that, my very first blessing that I had received from Baba was that you're very mature, and with maturity you'll go very far. And other was that you're triple light, not just light, being physically light, but also not keeping any burden, that nothing was suppressing me. And also lots and lots of blessings, very close to Dadi Gulzar, and lots of blessings from Dadi. And one particular blessing, which I thought was very sweet, Dadi had said to me once that Dadi knew exactly, Dadi had said this, that Baba knew exactly what I wanted. And so he's given me this Balki, this girl who has understood me. And so it's true, just catching on her, just her bhavna, understanding her bhavna and working on the basis of her bhavna. That was very, very important, from which angle she was coming at, and many other things that I had experienced from Dadi. But I don't know if you want to ask any questions, because I know it's only a few minutes left.
Thank you, Hansa. Very nice. It feels like we have gone down memory lane.
Yeah, you were with me on these
a lot of the time, yeah. And lovely to see Dadi's face there and listening to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll just ask you maybe a few questions, maybe to make it a little more, well, let's say to probe you a little more. So I know that you also took quite a few risks, with Dadi. Do you want to share about those risks, and what was your decision-making process at that time?
I think the risks were in the last moments, especially taking her on tour on a chartered flight. But I felt that Baba's in charge, and because Baba is in charge and this is what he wants done, I was well prepared for everything. I mean, her physical needs, I used to always take, like, for instance, on one trip, I had to take the oxygen cylinder. But I always had a little kit with me, like her ECG machine, her blood pressure machine, her pulse machine, all the things that her nebulizer, all the things which were connected with her illness. I used to carry those so that even if we didn't have a hospital around, we would be able to manage her, taking all her injections. So we used to go well prepared. It wasn't just jumping on a flight and taking her from one door to another, but we were very well prepared. And I felt that Dadi was just seeing her condition. Sometimes she was sick before her travels, but at the time of traveling, I felt that she would be able to do it. And if anything, then the other end, people were always also well prepared by having a doctor or having an ambulance there, because also they didn't want to take risks. So yeah, just being well prepared with all the equipments. But I felt that Dadi would have stopped me if she felt that she couldn't do it, because at least that much Dadi was I was very connected to Dadi, and so any little signals from her, but she was okay, get me ready, and she would be ready to go wherever.
So in connection with that, any stories of miracles that happened, like, for example, the weather turned in your favor, or the time stopped, or suddenly help came, or any stories?
Yeah, I would like to share how Dadi did turn the impossible to possible, something that we felt that, and we all said, it's not possible, you can't do it. And it was a time when we'd gone to New York for their national retreat, and Dadi was there. I think it was on the second or third day. Anyway, Dadi was only there for a few days, but she heard from somewhere that someone from the Dada Jashan, from the Sadhu Vashwani mission, who she knew from her childhood, So they were very close friends, that he was quite sick, and they'd brought him to Chicago. And everybody, Kalaban, myself, Mohini Ban, everybody spoke. Dadi said she wanted to go and see him, but it's impossible, Dadi. And she wanted to go in the morning and come back the same day, the same evening. And how is that possible? Not even a young person, able person is able to do it. And here, there's like 100. And how is that possible? Because it's 2 hours drive from Peace Village to New York. And then at the airport, we had to wait an hour. And from on the flight, it was a few hours. And can you imagine? How can you do that all in a day? But can you imagine the happiness of that person and all his disciples, how happy they were to see Dadi when she did go and see him? It's like there was never a no, you know, that, okay, Dadi would always, whatever thought she had in her head, she had to carry that out. And she did go and she did meeting, and we did come back, and we came back the same evening. And would you believe it? It was on that particular trip that one of Baba's child, one person, they came up on the flight. They came to us, and it was Urushi. She didn't know who the BKs were, but she just loved looking at Dadi, and she asked, who is this person? So an introduction was given, and Dadi asked her to come and sit next to her. And Dadi was giving her breakfast to this woman who she didn't even know. And she made her into a contact soul. And that soul then became so close to the BKs. And she even came to Madhuban. And she just loved Dadi. So she turned the whole thing round. You know, she would never see anything as impossible. And it was just wonderful to see that, you know, at that age, to go in the morning and come back at night, who would be able to do that?
Nice, yeah. And since Dadi's gone, any realizations you've had of Dadi's teachings, or anything we can learn from as a result of those realizations?
Yeah, I just feel that because looking at Dadi's life and how much she valued time, now is the time that I'm just focusing more and more on this thing about valuing time and not wasting my time and energy in any negative way, and that I have to carry out Dadi's legacy in caring, sharing, and inspiring souls, that Baba's new children who would be coming, who've never met Dadi, who've never seen Dadi. And so this is my new role, that at least I can give them that, what little, you know, that experience, and through my sharing or through my experience. And you know, there's this pull now to go back, because there's party starting in August, and I just feel that I have to just go back and just welcome these people who will be coming for bhaktis, you know, who would not have come to Shakti Bhavan, who would not have been connected or come close to Dadi. Because you can understand hundreds and thousands of teachers. When teachers used to come, it normally used to be the senior teachers or the next one down, but never the little ones. And so it'd be nice just to connect with them, to share, to care, and just to give them so much sustenance. I just feel that this is my role now, you know, just to go and do that.
So you'll be spending more time in Madhuban?
Oh, definitely. And also waiting for that time when all of you come, all the double foreigners, to welcome all of you and for you to all know that, yes, Shakti Bhavan doors are open, Dadi's home is open to whoever wants to visit, whoever wants to come. So it'd be very nice. I know Dadi used to always look forward to the foreigners coming, and she used to be so happy. All the foreigners used to come, and even when Dadi used to be unwell and was in bed, I still used to take foreigners to Dadi's bedroom, because next to it was Papa's room. So it was just right that when they were leaving, they should see Dadi. So yeah, it was nice.
And I'll just take one question from the chat. So they're saying there was a time when Dadi was about to leave the body. She had completely prepared for that, maybe 91. So what was her stage at that time? But also I would like to ask, what was Dadi's stage at the end? Like in our language, Karmatit state, seed state, what was Dadi's
you know,
stage?
for a few years, Dadi had been saying, you know, to me that Baba can pull my string anytime. And she was well prepared. She didn't know that she was going to live till 104. But yes, when her birthdays used to come up, she, you know, she used to be so happy that she's 101 and she's 102 and 103 and then 104. And so Dadi was well prepared for that. Her last stage, I was seeing that she had become very upram. She was just beyond that. She was already with Baba. It looked as if she was already with Baba. And the thing that that I was listening to afterwards was, because when we used to go near her, it was like she was in the spot, she was in the body, you know, the soul was there, but she wasn't there, she was somewhere else. And it was like Baba, Baba was, you know, she was serving the world, Baba was using her. Because when Baba's season started, when all the people started to coming, so many people used to come up and say to me, but on the last day, Dadi was there. She came to us. Dadi came to us. Dadi came in my dream. Dadi came in my thought. And it really felt that, yes, Dadi was serving the world at that time. Dadi was very up above in her angelic state. She was in the body, but not in the body. She was in her angelic stage. Nothing pulled her. And it was lovely to see that she went in the way that she had wanted without having any instruments around her, instrument in the sense that, or the oxygen mask and all the, you know, other medical equipment. So it was nice that although they did try, you know, to give her medication, but it was like she was up above.
But she was present. What was Dadi's last moment?
Last moments was she just had her eyes shut. She was still breathing, but it was like she was with Baba. She was totally with Baba. There was no suffering. There was the stillness. And you could feel that she was just with Baba. A lot of thundering, lightning. It was like even the nature was welcoming her, preparing her, welcoming her. So because the day before, I had fed her, because before she used to be on this rice tube and she was fed through the tube. But on the last day, my great fortune that I was able to feed her through the mouth, her lunch, evening meal. And even then, you know, she was just Oprah. She was just beyond. And it was 2 o'clock that she left. But it was like hardly anyone there. That also what she would have wanted. Yeah, that was her last stage.
And
Very powerful, very angelic. That's what I would say, that she was just, she left in an angelic way in her form.
Yeah, and I remember because 5.5 hours behind, I was in London and in Hounslow with Nimuben, and we were literally chatting about Dadi. And then an hour and a half later, we find out that she left the body. We were just sitting there chatting about Dadi and her, whatever, you know, her teachings, her blessings.
Yeah.
So she was obviously circling, I think.
Yeah,
that.
she would have done. Yeah. I have also had this feeling, not just at that particular moment or a day before, but 4 or 5 days she was in that state of stillness, in that silence. And it was like she was just there, but not there.
So thank you, Hansaben, and we have very big footsteps to fill.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm sure everybody has enjoyed. We also have lots of people on YouTube listening.
Thank you.
I'm sure they will hear again. So we will end with some meditation again, if you could give Drishti.
Thank you.
lots of thanks and appreciation in the chat.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.